Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't see and find I'm king of the hill.
What would you like to share with the world? How's it going?
Listen, I'm still trying to figure it out too. Please, somebody tell me if you have a better idea.
Yes.
For God's sake.
That being said, I'm chewing my bagel. Tell me something.
What would you like to know?
What do you want people to know about you?
What do I want people to know about me?
Yeah.
I suppose. What do I want people to know about me?
I don't know either. Try to look at the camera. What do you want people to know about you?
That I'm a human.
Good. What does it mean?
It means it's such an interesting thing to be a human, but it means you can create the future in whatever way you want. And I desperately want that to be true, so I make it real. Everything I've ever, wanted, I made real. But I don't know that I want people to know that about me. I just think I want them to know that I don't know that I want people to know anything about me.
I know you don't. Welcome.
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 I need to fix the lighting in here.
So,
Keep going. No.
I'm just documenting. I don't care. Like while I'm eating bagels, sitting on the it's like seriously the balagan is like okay.
Okay, there we go. I'm
Okay,
better
sorry.
lit. I'm better lit now, aren't I?
Oh, נכון. כל
I
הכבוד.
just have an instinct about it. What can I say?
So what do you want to share? You know what? Just talk about whatever you know. You were telling me about the restaurant downstairs, right?
Yeah. So, the restaurant that Tony Bourdain worked at is next door. We're at 17 John, which is the hotel. Next door is Le Halles.
You know, we're Israel. You're not supposed to say locations.
Okay, good. Redact it. Fuck it.
Okay, then you know.
Also, come and get me, Hamas, you bitch. I'm Israel Chai. Fuck you. Anyway. So yeah, we're next door to Tony Bourdain's restaurant, and Tony Bourdain. His story moves me because I feel a lot of connection to him in terms of, he worked at this little shitty restaurant. It was his. And what was important about it was that it was the place where the nexus between his experience and his awareness, where he kind of took himself out of the story for a second and was able to document it as a journalist, not just as a chef. And he wrote this book called Kitchen Confidential. So this is where Anthony Bourdain's story, his trajectory changed. But ultimately, Anthony Bourdain killed himself. So
I remember when you told me first this story, and it's a sad story in many ways.
I don't think it's sad anymore.
Yeah.
But I think what it is that I can look at Tony Bourdain, and if there's what I resonate with, and whether it's real to him or not, to his story or relevant, I can see a person who's chasing beautiful things. You know? And in his book, he found something beautiful about his experience, and he wrote about it. People really resonated with it. In fact, it launched his whole career. So here he is in his 40s, a former heroin addict, a person who used drugs to try to find a way to mitigate his...
So why do you think? That's interesting, because he has a good life. He was such a talented, familiar, well-known chef, yet he was fucking unhappy.
He ran out of beautiful things to find.
What does it mean, beautiful things? Where do you think he looked for them?
If you look outwards to run away from ugliness in here, you look to find beautiful things around you. Which is not an accident, in my opinion, why he was a chef, because food is a form of art. So he becomes an artist in some ways to paint over the ugly parts in the world. And he does it in such a way that in the moment that he starts to document his life as a journalist and starts to share the beauty of his life as a chef in Les Halles.
Which is a restaurant that
downstairs, right?
Yeah. Bemikre, which there is no,
Yeah, right. In the moment that he starts to document something compelling, let's not say beautiful, right? But something beautiful or compelling about his life as a restaurateur or a head chef, he gets launched into a world where he is given the capability to run around the globe to find beautiful things, to live his projection of himself. It's like he started off in his restaurant, doing his thing, but then very quickly became a character in his own story.
Mm. Explain that.
He became a character in the story called Kitchen Confidential. He created a character which was an amalgamation of all the rock stars, the Iggy Pops in the world. He was friends with rock stars. One of my favorite bands is Queens of the Stone Age, and in the documentary about him, hell, Queens of the Stone Age did the theme music for No Reservations. So he projected himself as a character. Now he's a rock star chef and author. And it takes him to all the places he wanted to be in the world.
And was he happy while he was doing
I'm going to get there. And this is exactly what I'm saying. And I resonate with it because I've done the same thing. I traveled the whole world. I've been across on the other side of the globe, China, Europe, Israel. I've been in all these different places looking to find something other than what was inside me because I didn't want to be confronted with it. And I think the most moving thing about Anthony Bourdain is, first of all, he's a beautiful human. I look at him and he's like a masterpiece. But it also helps me see, don't try to chase the beauty outside you. Look inside and find this is my journey. This is where I'm at. Timestamp, today, the 26th of January. My journey is to sit with the ugliness around me and transform it into something beautiful. Because I can see what will happen if I keep trying to replace it with something beautiful from the outside. I'll run out of beautiful things, and then the ugliness will catch up with me. And it's a shame, because what really made Anthony Bourdain special was not his writing. It was him. It wasn't that's not what people are reacting to, is his ability to write. It's his ability to have a human experience as a real person you're watching a deeply wounded but beautiful, in spite of that person, having experiences that embiggen him. And you can see how without a solid core, he gets pulled and pushed in these different places. And I think along the way somewhere he lost himself. And there was nothing to come back to. It's like Virginia Woolf says, you know, there's this thing like, or Thomas Wolfe, you can never go home again. You can't.
It was too sad in the end.
He was sad because I agree. He gave all of his love and affection to a human, a woman.
I remember the movie.
Yeah. And at the end of it, she was careless with something very, very beautiful and very fragile, and it broke.
She broke up with him, right? There was something. What happened at the end of his life?
Yeah, she broke up with him, and he found out she was cheating on him. But he had involved her. He was so excited to find a beautiful human. She's a beautiful human. You know, Asia Argento. She's Italian, of course, so she's very a pain in the ass. I don't know her for certain. I could just tell you, having been around Italians, there are pains in the asses.
Being one.
But I can tell you that that what happened at the end of it was it just ran out of beautiful things. He kept looking for a place to hang his, the debt that you drag behind you. It doesn't go away. The sad things that you drag behind you, they don't disappear.
Yeah.
And you can put all the truffle oil you want on them.
I love truffle.
But you will always catch that flavor until you just turn around and stop running from them. And then, I can speak for myself, like that's been part of my challenge, is learning to accept the parts of myself that I wish were different.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not an admission of like a defeat, It's not like I'm surrendering to who I am and that's just what I am. I recognize I have great capacity for change. But to turn around and look at myself and say, there are things about me that I would like to change, and leave it there.
What do you mean leave it there?
Yeah, human mind's a really devious thing. It can do really, could create universes, So when you say there are things I'd like to change, sometimes the answer is not go at it full potato and change it. Sometimes saying you need to change is a statement of your disposition to something, which is the question you need to sit in silence with to understand why I need to change and how do I need to change and what is driving this behavior that I don't like and why am I not okay with it? Why is it that this person over here is perfectly happy being exactly the kind of person that I can't stand my own skin? So what's different between me and this person? These are questions that you will miss if you rush right into self-improvement. And self-improvement to what end is a question I don't think anybody really asks. What are you trying to be? Because Anthony Bourdain improved the shit out of himself.
And he was an excellent chef.
He
was,
you know what? I don't know if he was I can tell you something, that you don't have to be an excellent chef to be somebody who understands the beauty and the art, the kung fu of cooking.
What I'm saying, in some ways from the external, you achieved his goal, like being very well recognized, right, and being
that's
a
what
chef.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's precisely what I'm saying. He changed everything about his life that he decided he wanted to change, and it didn't profit him anything.
That's the sad thing, by the way.
That's the sad part.
And then he just had to end his life.
Right. So the question is before you start changing yourself, what questions should you ask before you start twisting and turning your creation into something you don't recognize? I think at the end, I didn't recognize Anthony Bourdain at the very end. When you look at the arc,
mm-hmm.
He looked like a guy who was running and running and running and running away and running away and running away. He looked ragged. And I have often felt ragged in my pursuit to change myself.
Because you used to run away.
Yeah. So
what are those questions, to your opinion? Is that like before you feel like you want to change, and then you need to ask yourself questions, right? What do you think these questions would be?
I don't think that you can prescribe. I mean, I can't say that there are a general set of questions. I think sometimes all you have, it's like praying, right? Sometimes the only words you have is a groan. Sometimes you really can't articulate the question even, It's like, during Passover, there's the 4 sons, the one that doesn't know how to ask. That's sometimes who you are. You don't know what to ask yourself. And you must just have the space or the self.
So what do you do when you don't know what to ask yourself? That's a good thing.
I think you just shut the fuck up.
Yes.
I think you just shut the fuck up and you have the, you shut, here, let me say it for the camera. Shut the fuck up and sit quietly with yourself. Recognize that you don't have an answer and don't try to don't start looking for things that fit the shape of the hole, the shape of the question.
Yeah.
And it's a scary
Easy
thing.
to say, hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, it's a scary thing because you got to sit there with this big, gaping, what should I do in your head?
Or should I fix my life? Or should I be
What does fix my
happier?
life mean?
Yeah.
Right.
What's happy?
What will happen if I get everything I ever wanted and I'm not happy?
Kill yourself?
No,
No, I'm not talking about you, but we're just talking about...
I think that's what a lot of people end up with. I've gotten everything I ever wanted. I can change anything about myself. Here's a more accurate way to say it. I can change anything about myself, but I don't know what I should be. Everybody knows how to change themselves, but they don't know how to listen. And if they can listen, they don't know how to accept the answer.
That's something true, because sometimes it's like we listen, we hear, but we don't know what to do, or we don't know what to do with it, or we don't want to do anything with it,
or it doesn't
because
fit,
it's too scary, or
it doesn't fit our frameworks. We're social creatures, So if I decide I walk into my office or I go into my board meeting and I'm like, but I've completely changed myself. My business partners are going to be like, did you lose your mind? What happened to you?
But that's why I think that also with our project with DPNR, it's all about how do I bring all these complexities and layers into the human experience, because at some point you need to perform in so many ways.
I disagree. That word you used was the part.
Because you don't like the word perform. I know.
I can perform.
Of course you can perform. But how do you perform in a way that is always, not always, or being considered aligned to you?
How do you make art out of your life? Can you make someone else's art?
No.
Can you paint someone else's paintings?
Never.
You know what you are if you do that? You're a forger. Don't forge your life. Don't make your life into a forgery of performance. To make yourself into a highly technical painter that doesn't paint your own dreams. Paint what you see when you close your eyes, even if it's shitty. It's yours. Performance is something I've done my whole life. Give me a set of criteria, I can hit it. Give me a persona that I need to be. I'll become it.
So that's a great, I hear you. And every time I used to tell you that I dream with my nose. That's exactly what I was saying. And yet you felt like there is something there that I'm doing in a way that I might not really, I don't know if the benefit from it's the right word, but like that I'm not doing it
authentically.
Yeah.
I think
which I disagree, by the way.
No, I don't think that at all. I think you're very authentic. I think the danger is what you're describing to people who do not have an awareness of a missing component is dangerous. You might not be aware that there's a lens inside you that focuses this drawing onto, it's basically a lens that you're drawing what your soul is asking for. That there's a lens inside
That's
there.
the desire that got put inside of me.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if that lens has become a projector.
What do you mean?
if instead of it being a pair of glasses, it's got a piece of film behind it, that this film is what other people expect or what my framework demands, or some external force that I feel like I must serve. If something stands in the way of the lens, you're not projecting the true image. You're projecting something that has been manipulated. People who understand themselves very well, they don't manipulate themselves. That's not their language. But people who have been in their whole life forced to perform in different frameworks.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference.
That's the difference. When someone is so used to manipulate himself, he buys his own story. And by the way, and they really truly believe. I met so many people that truly believe.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Hi, Neshama. Okay.
I'm saying that's been my problem. My problem has always been I'm so good at substituting, of marketing other people's desires to myself, because I have done an internal calculation of benefit or profit, that I internalize other people's desires. I internalize other people's vision and dreams. And my own will and intuition have become blunted by that, so much so that I can't even hear it anymore. So when someone says, oh, just manifest your future, it's like, what fucking future are you talking about? Whose future?
That's the deep, because also when we talk about manifestation, many times you didn't like the word, you don't like the idea of to manifest.
I understand it is a mechanism that is...
It's science as well.
It's science.
Yeah. It's not just like let's
It's not
have dreams and
it's
make them
not
happen.
woo-woo. It's not woo-woo, but it's like handing a kid who says, I like to go fast. And you go, great, you like to go fast? Here is a 1,000cc motorcycle, sport bike. It does 200 miles an hour. If you like to go fast, achi, go kill yourself. You're telling people about something that's obvious, first of all. Of course, manifestation. Yeah. Second of all, but manifesting what? You haven't prepared this person with the skills to understand what to manifest yet.
So I think
and maybe that's really what DPNR is about. It's really about giving you a stethoscope so you can hear your own heart.
While you move forward.
Right.
Because it's like about failing forward, even,
Yeah,
the motorcycle example.
It's an EKG. It's an EKG. DPNR is like, listen to your heartbeat. Go through your life and listen to where your heartbeat, your pulse increases. What in your day makes your heart beat faster?
And take action, even if it's not the right one for you.
Just document it.
Yeah.
That's docopreneur, is document what the fuck is happening inside you all the time.
Mm-hmm. So you can make better decisions maybe later on, or just experience life with awareness.
And I think that's the point. I'm not suggesting that you're going to have an unmitigated positive experience. Sometimes the thing that makes your heart beat fast is the things you're afraid of, but at least you're checking. You basically have like a polygraph. Yeah. And you see when you have a spike, you can correlate it to what's happening in the world around you at that moment, contemporaneously. Because when I say to somebody, well, manifestation is bullshit, why am I reacting to it? Not because I don't believe in manifestation. It's because it's like giving a 2-year-old a loaded gun and saying, you can create your whole world, buddy.
Because that's your experience.
Because that's my experience.
But you said also something that is important, because also in our experience with DPNR, we're not trying to make anyone just happier. It's not about being happy, because the process is you're gonna deal with lots of shit. You're gonna find out so many things you don't like about yourself.
Listen, I can tell you that happy is like the most dangerous and fickle success criterion you could find.
Drop the mic.
Because it isn't, for me, it's not about being happy. It's about being at peace. That's really what Anthony Bourdain was looking for.
Inner peace.
It's peace.
Yeah.
And when you're living your life in reaction to something that's taking your peace from you, that's not the way to get it. You can't fix your manic depression by seeking the manic experiences always. You have to sit in quiet and realize that the things that used to feel good to you were just one swing of a pendulum. You have to rewire your brain, because the definition of happy for yourself is screwed up. I'm not looking for happy. I'm looking for peace.
And when you're at peace, you feel happy in a way.
When I'm at
Content.
peace,
What?
when I'm at peace, I don't feel happy or sad. I feel, I'll use a word I like. I approach my life with equanimity. Meaning that what comes to me, it's like it says in by the way, it's something that our people have figured out a long time ago. What does it say? It says, who is happy? The man who is content with what he has, right? That is a happy man. That's how our sages define
Like gratitude in the, yeah.
one who is content with what he has. So content with what he has doesn't mean that you don't try. It means in every moment you're grateful for the next breath. And trust me, when you can't breathe, it's a great lesson to be grateful for the next breath you have.
Yeah, let's tell the audience that you just had a motorcycle accident.
Oh, you want to talk about motorcycle?
No, I was just saying that about can't breathe.
Yeah, I got into a motorcycle accident beginning of this month. I broke 7 ribs in my scapula, punctured my lung, or my lung deflated, broken ribs, poked a hole in something in here, lung collapsed. And I'm in a lot of pain. But I had this experience, thank you, ketamine.
Thank you, ketamine.
Where the morphine and the fentanyl were not doing anything for my pain. And so the doctor's like, okay, we're gonna have to put a chest tube in because your lungs are collapsing and you're gonna die. I'm like, oh, can you give me something for the pain? And she goes, yeah, we already gave you morphine, didn't work. We already gave you fentanyl, didn't work. How about some ketamine? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm gonna karate chop the shit out of you. If you don't tie me down, duct tape me to this table, I'm gonna come off this table, and even with one lung collapsed and another one collapsing, I'm gonna fight you. She's like, okay, two units of ketamine. So anyway, I ended up having ketamine, and I had a really strong dissociative experience. And I'm not trying to say that I met God or that God came to me and talked. God doesn't have a body or a face or hands. That's not who he is. What I got a sense of is how he is echad. He is everything. I don't mean like, he's in everything. I mean like literally he's the breath that gives the world its shape. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to see how easy it's going to be to die. I mean, like 1 foot in this world, 1 foot out of the other. And all of these things that I think are real, it's not real. And I came out of the experience thinking, wow, what a gift my life is. All the problems that I think I have. When you're on an operating table going, it really turns the volume down on that shit like...
They do not exist. What are you talking about?
It just hits the mute button on all your problems, right?
Yes, yeah.
And so as part of this experience, I got a sense for what a deep joy and a deep love animates the world. Nothing that happens for randomness. As we were talking the other day about I had this card. On one side of the card, it's like it says, "For my sake the world was created." And on the other side of the card it says, "But I am but dust and ashes." I'm just dust and ashes. But these dust and ashes are so important that God caused me to be born in this lifetime to do the things that only I can do. And this is a really humbling thought. It really reconfigures how you think about your place in the world and the reason you should do things and whether or not you are good enough in the moment that you find yourself in. When you sit in the disposition to the things about yourself you wish you could change. To recognize that even in that moment, you are a creation that was so important that God created the world just so you could create a piece of it with him. It gives you a lot of pause about doing things for no good reason, including when you don't have a good reason yet to stop and do the things in front of you that you can do with all of your heart and your soul and your strength. You know, there's a reason why it says, like, you'll love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your strength. It focuses you. So everything else in my life is really like, okay, great. I don't know what to do, and that's okay.
Many people, they cannot, it's one of the basic needs, like
Yeah, certainty.
certainty. Yeah.
People need to know that they know what they're going to do when they wake up in the morning. It's really disrupting for them not to know how they're going to live their life.
But that goes to the deepest, thing of emunah that we keep talking about. But you need to get there. You cannot, just okay. Now I feel like
I highly recommend a near-death experience. It's like the best thing you could possibly.
He keeps wishing me that. I don't know what I think about it, but watch out, bitch. It's not a.
But speaking seriously, I think that's the point. I think that if I'm Anthony Bourdain and I have an opportunity to cook a meal, whether it's in a Michelin star restaurant or in some shithole Waffle House, to do it as if it were the most important thing in the world.
I love it.
Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world just so I could make this omelet for who knows who. Who knows what the joy that I make with this omelet, what effect it's going to have on the soul of the person that I serve it to. It is not a small thing. It is not a small thing what you put your hands to do. It's not just because you didn't make it to a Michelin star, so you work at a Waffle House. You don't know what the things you do how they will affect the people for whom you do them. You might change somebody's life with an omelet who happened to walk into your Waffle House at the worst possible moment. And to feel the care with which you do it, you won't stay there. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's impossible.
But that's the little beautiful things that you were talking about, because I can see you, what can really make you, wow, when you're being kind to other people or when you give something.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm grateful that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me this life. I'm grateful that he gave it to me, number one, first, and then he gave it back to me at the end of this experience. I could have died. Don't pass go. I hit this woman going very fast. I didn't expect her. She came over on me and I had nowhere to go. Hit her and woke up on the side of the road after I went for a somersault flying down the road. You know what I mean? Like, Baruch Hashem, I didn't land on my neck, I would have died. But I'm grateful to him for giving me this life. And I don't want to waste 1 minute doing it haphazardly. If I gave you a Rolex, are you going to take your diamond Rolex with gold and leave it in your jeans and put it in the washing machine?
Probably not.
Probably not, because it's valuable. Valuable things require care. And
you are valuable.
And you're the most important resource in the whole world. You're the most valuable resource. Not for someone else, for yourself. The things that I do with my whole heart, with my whole soul, it is impossible for it to remain lowly, because I, by virtue of myself and my soul, I elevated my work from the mud. This is like what Chabad says. This is all we're here for, to lift the jewels from the mud. For if it can be lifted higher, it may not be left low. If it is not evil, it must be used for good. For all things he created for his glory. It's impossible that by elevating my work at a Waffle House that I will stay as the chef of a Waffle House. Because the work, the human quality, the human soul reacts to it, what it sees in the world around it. If I make an omelet for the right person, I'm immediately going to be elevated. Because that's the secret sauce you can't manufacture. You can't perform it. There's something different between somebody who has a song on the radio today and David Bowie. The guy with the song on the radio, he made music his producer told him would sell. He did it. That's not art. That's commerce. That's what...
by the way, that's a great way to put it. You know.
David Bowie said, I wish I didn't have to sing my own songs. I wish I could find someone and say,
So it's commercial versus...
Mike, I forget his name, he's a producer. His name is Mike...
Never mind, but it's...
Anyway, he's a famous producer. I'll remember his name in a second. But he said, if you're making music for anyone, if you're making your art for anything but yourself, it is not art, it is commerce. It's something different. And you can hear it when you listen to it. When you hear David Bowie, he's like, I'm not a very good singer, but I'm the only person who can interpret my own music. And when you listen to what a person who's making art versus who's making a commercial product, you instantly know the difference. Marco Pierre White, right? Who is Gordon Ramsay's mentor.
Yeah.
He doesn't even cook in a restaurant anymore. He does YouTube videos about how he makes chicken soup. Silly, cheap chicken soup. Why? And he even said it, and I think I sent it to you. He was giving a lecture at Oxford. And he says, because when you're a Michelin star restaurant, you're making food for someone else.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's no longer his art. I vibe with that. I reject, mine not for sale. The only person who gets to decide what I do with myself and my gifts is me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's it. That's what's really unique in the world. Because everybody has an open hole in their heart that says, please tell me who to be. Please tell me how to be. And the only person that should ever answer that question is you. If you can answer the question.
But even...
In the meantime, try shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, but even if you don't have the answer, don't go and ask it from someone else.
That's
to
what I'm
tell
saying.
You. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I was saying
shit
before.
In the
I'm saying, take an opportunity to sit in silence with the answer to that question, which is, I don't know.
Fuck, that's really like, that's what exactly happened to me between Outsourced to DPNR. Yeah. I had no idea what's going to come next and how it's going to look like, my life. And it's hard.
Let me say for the record.
It's so fucking hard to sit like...
It's unbelievably hard.
More when you're so capable of doing stuff.
Remember what we used to say?
What?
When you can do anything, the biggest problem in your life becomes, what should I do?
Yeah, yeah.
I can do anything. I'm a mercenary. I can do anything.
And that's also sometimes the problem.
I don't want to be a mercenary anymore. And I'll tell you, the last 2 or 3 years, I have paused doing anything because I haven't had an answer that I felt here. I don't want to do anything in my life that I don't feel from here.
You can't, even if you'll try today.
Right, because you can taste it in my cooking, you can taste it in my singing, you can taste it when it comes from here.
Isn't it amazing and lovely when it feels like that?
And you know something, when you get used to operating from your guts here, from your soul, it's a beam of light. It cuts through all the bullshit around you. And you see people for exactly who they are. And you love them for who they are, wherever they are.
And that's what your life becomes like, the people around you, the experiences. So every day becomes truly special.
You start to see what B'Tselem Elohim means. I like the idea of B'Tselem, the bet in the front, with or in. I like to think of the idea of with in English, it's a translation. My native tongue is English. But Hebrew is a really beautiful language, right? And I like this idea of with the image of God, as if he made an imprint in the soul, in the shape of him. And when you live your life like that, when you're in that place of equanimity where you're not calculating the profit potential for the people around you, and you stop doing it to yourself, more importantly, you start to see that little spark of humanity in every person around you, and it's so beautiful, you could barely stand it. It's art in motion, all around you. You don't have to go to Kuala Lumpur or Vietnam or all over the earth
Or New York
to
City.
find beautiful things, because the beautiful things are all around you, all the time.
You know that I think you're an amazing soul, right?
You're an idiot.
Listen, we had like 40 minutes of opening your heart for the first time in front of the camera instead of you just eating with us. So I don't know what we're gonna do with this content.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. And yeah, bye.
You're something walking through your windows. Ain't that your thing
Start spreading the news. You're leaving today. Tell him, Frank. I want to be a part of it. New York.